team goals? How do you kind of approach going into the upcoming season?
Man, I think everybody does have like individual goals, but also like after a while, like you're like, man, like it's cool to have like individual goals, but it's like, all right, that like, how can you go make an impact on your team? So it's like, man, how can I, serve my brothers? How can I help like better the team? And ultimately, it's about winning, man. So we, like I said, we're trying to build something here and win. You know what I mean?
So I'm sure there's no easy quarterback to get to in the entire league. You want to get them all.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
As you get ready for this, getting into training camp and getting into off season, just how excited are you when you're injured? You're away from those guys. You said your brothers. How excited are you to just get back with those guys on a daily basis in a season where we hope and we think there'll be, restrictions like there's been the last couple of years. You could just get back to football, be healthy, and play the game.
Oh, it's fun, man. Anytime we got a pretty funny room, and so anytime we all get in the room, man, there's always good times. It's always fun, always competition, and so it's I'm excited about that, to have everybody to be in the same room with everybody again.
Well, we have always paid attention to what you've done in this area since you left Youngstown. We wish you nothing but success, health, the opportunity to stay on the field and play the game that I could just hear how much you love. I want to thank, your representation that helped us set this up with you. And we look forward to seeing what you do this year with the Texans.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you more. Thank you for the opportunity.
Great to catch up with you. And again, best of luck this season. That is former Youngstown State defensive end and now current Texans defensive end Derek Rivers joining us on today's show. Derek, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
That is the opening segment of today's show. We've got much more coming here this afternoon in another episode of By All Means, 129 overall. We've got a lot to get to in What's Trending after the first break. YSU baseball, YSU softball, the Phantoms on a fire again, sweeping 3 over the weekend. And the Cleveland Guardians are up to spending money again. Don't want to surprise everybody too much after the money they spent with Jose Ramirez. There is reports they're going to spend another large chunk of money on keeping one of their younger players in-house on the roster and avoiding free agency and arbitration. And then coming up at the end of the show, we're going to start talking to all the new high school football coaches. We'll talk to Brian Jones from Howland. That is up next here on By All Means.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier. Then make sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday 10 to 4 and Saturday 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
Did you miss the last Youngstown Phantoms hockey game? Catch up with the Dump and Chase podcast.
Visiting youngstownphantoms.com, or you can call the Phantoms box office. So tickets are... You son of a... Phantoms box office. Or you can call the Phantoms box office at 330-747-PUCK. That is 330-747-7825.
Yay! Alrighty.
The Dump and Chase podcast, Wednesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia1 network.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Right back here on By All Means. A big thank you to the folks at Priority Sports and Entertainment for setting up that interview with Derek Rivers, the former Youngstown State defensive end, now with the Houston Texans. And we appreciate everything they did to get that scheduled, providing us with the social media pictures and everything that they did. So big thank you to them. So I kind of teased this before the break, Dave. The Guardians are out there reportedly spending money again. I don't know if I can get used to this.
Hey, I'm hoping they do. We spend the money, get some players, make this team better than it was last year, although last year was a good year. And you know what? Let's go all the way. So let's go on a betting site and drop $5 on them winning the series this year.
I don't know if their series is good, but I like the fact, and they are doing what they did, in the 90s with this organization. They develop young talent, and they're locking it up long term. Reportedly, nothing official from the organization yet. Andres Jimenez, the all-star second baseman of the Guardians, who was acquired in the trade for Francisco Lindor, who I will admit I kind of counted out after the first year. I'm like, this guy's not very good. He was supposed to be the centerpiece in this trade. Him, Ahmed Rosario, and a couple of other players. And what did he do in the next year? Have a breakout season. Had an all-star caliber season. Had a Gold Glove season. Put up big-time numbers.
Proves you wrong.
Did. And I'm glad he did. I hope they all prove me wrong when I doubt them. So reportedly, the deal is a 7-year extension for about $106.5 million.
Can I have 1%
The extension
of that?
would kick in next year, not this season, but next year. Would take out all his arbitration seasons and about 4 or 5 years of him in free agency. So I think he would be Guardians property if the whole term of the deal is executed. Are you ready for this, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Around 30 or 2031.
Hey, I'll take it. If he puts up the numbers like he did last year, I'll take it. Well,
2031. I haven't even thought about things like that.
Yeah, well, hey, 2031 is not that far away. So, in the grand scheme of things, when you start thinking about it, it's really not that far. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to wrap him up for his career.
We'll be pushing in our 60s, all of us.
Well, we will be, yeah. So, some of us closer than others, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, because you get some of these other systems. We won't mention any names, Pittsburgh, but you develop these players and you get rid of them, and that's what Cleveland's not doing again. It's back to where we used to be, back in the 80s and 90s, when we used to go to games all the time because we had nothing better to do.
Or we go to Thurman Munson in Canton.
That's right, and go watch these guys play on rehab assignments. We were good for that. But, yeah, I like the idea of spending the money on these players, developing them, and keeping them. Because you develop them, and then you get rid of them, why the heck did you develop them in the first place? Unless you're all just looking to develop for trade bait. So, and that's not the name of the game. It isn't developed for trade bait. It's developed to win a series.
Eventually, someday we may potentially see something like that. And you know what? There's speculation that they are talking to other players as well. And I mean, we are a little more than 2 days away from what I believe should be a national holiday, an opening day. I'm not a big fan that the Guardians game on Thursday doesn't start till after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's past your bedtime. Because
that's pushing bedtime for the day. I want to make it past the third inning. And, we're talking 10:10 on Thursday, 10:10 on Friday, and 9:40 on Saturday. So, those are some West Coast late starts.
Yeah, but with the new rules, that game's going to be over by, I'd say, 12:30, 1:45.
Oh, no, it'll be over way before that.
Oh, you figure what? About 2.5 hours a game.
Right.
So if it's starting at 10:10, you're looking at 12:30. So
that's only probably closer to 1.
Yeah, that's what I said. 12:30, 1:45. That game's going to be over. So yeah, a couple hours to stay up a little later to watch them. I'll probably deal with it and deal with the early morning. But
it's opening day. It's a holiday. At least it is for me.
For you, yes, I know. You'll have 3 TVs going and be sitting there with your Mountain Dew and your Doritos. So. And your pizza on speed dial. So.
That's a pretty accurate picture. That's kind of frightening, but that's a pretty accurate picture.
I've known you for 30 years. I've been a couple spring opening days with you. So.
Hey, speaking of that, I know it was yesterday, but happy, was it 60th birthday?
Yeah, 60, my butt. You're a year younger than me, buddy. Just remember that. So.
Right, so... We'll leave that go.
Yeah, as Jim put it yesterday.
To you
as Jim put it yesterday on the air during the lacrosse game, it's the 28th anniversary of my 21st birthday. So.
That's right. Because we had our buddy Matt, who we've been friends with for longer than 30 years.
Yep.
He had his 50th yesterday. We made sure to let him know about that.
I made sure very early in the morning to let him know. And he was already up and at work. So. We had a blast between me and him yesterday.
Let's see what else is going on. YSU baseball off to a tough start this year at 5-17. They're 2-3 in the Horizon League. They're home for Purdue Fort Wayne this weekend for a pair of games. And it's tough because you look at the schedule that they have to play. You got to go south and you got to go good. So they loaded up on a fantastic schedule that is going to prepare them for the Horizon League season and a chance to compete for that, a championship title in the Horizon League. So don't let that early season record fool you. This is a pretty good baseball team. They put up some big offensive numbers a couple of times this year.
Yeah, and hopefully they can continue. And it looks like the softball team's not doing too bad either, with a 13-13 and 4-0 so far in the Horizon League. So you know what? YSU sports have come a long way in the past couple years, so we'll see what can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to see, because they played yesterday after I did all of the prep for today's show, so I was trying to get a quick look at what they did in yesterday's matchup. And think about it. When you're in Northeast Ohio, if you can get a game in, it doesn't have to be the weekend anymore. If you have enough time to get a game in, you're going to get as many as you can in.
Oh, and the weather hasn't been that bad where it's like finger cracking baseball in March like we've had in the past. I mean, a lot of teams are actually getting games in softball and baseball, not only YSU, but in the high school level.
Yeah, the softball team fell to Detroit Mercy on Monday. 4-2, so that makes them 13-14 and 4-1 in the Horizon League. They will have a doubleheader against the Bonnies of St. Bonaventure on Wednesday. First game is at 1. Second game scheduled to follow there about 3 o'clock, and then the Penguins will have Oakland coming into town as they get back into conference play. But we're going to talk about the Phantoms that, of course, you can hear right here on Western Reserve Radio.
Yep.
It feels like as we've kind of honed in on the season, this team has just really taken off.
They are literally red hot. I don't think anybody can shut them down. And there's 8 games left right now in the season, 6 of which at the Covelli Center. But last weekend, let's see, 2 games against Madison. First one was 6-1 win over Madison Capitals. Goalie wins, stopped 37 of the 38. Come in on the next day, which I believe this was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series that they did, a 3-game away. Saturday came in 3-1. Fowler stopped 22 out of 21. Swept Madison. Then they went on to the Green Bay Gamblers. Took Green Bay down 2-1. Fowler stopped 37 to 38 in that one. I mean, this team is literally red hot. Whitelaw came out 2 goals in that 6-1 victory. LaChance got a goal. There was another. I got it right here. Let's see. Varner got his 9th and 10th goal in that game. Sabota got a goal in that game. They're turning up at the right time, and they're taking this. Games left for the season. We've got this weekend. We got 2 against the Lumberjacks that are coming into town at home. So if we take that, and then we're only 1 point out of first place, if we can maintain that, or at least keeping it within distance. You got the Chicago Steel coming in the weekend after that. They're currently in first place. So this team could end up in first place the way they're playing right now. They're literally red hot.
The opportunity is definitely there for them, as you said. Winning 2 against Madison, 1 against Green Bay, 8-2 in their last 10, just 1 point out of first. And I've talked to enough coaches over the last 25 plus years that you never assume anything. But Muskegon's not playing great hockey this year. There's an opportunity to get another 4 points this weekend.
Yeah, and they could very well do it very, very easily. Lumberjacks. Let's see. They're 50.
Next to last place.
Yeah, next to last place with 51 points. Madison Capital, that was the last place team with 27. But with the Lumberjacks coming in this week, and then the real test is going to be when Chicago comes to town and the week after, which I'm hoping the fans show up. We need to pack the Covelli Center for this. We need people there. They thrive off of that 7th man. They really do. And when the crowd gets into it, this team is even fired up even more. So, and they love it when there's a crowd at the Covelli Center. I'd love to see the 4,000 we had for the school day game. I know that'll probably not happen, but I'd love to see us just pack the Covelli Center and the Valley get behind this team. I mean, these kids are out there, and they play their heart out. I've watched these kids, for a couple of them for a couple of years now, develop, and they're peaking. Every one of these guys is just peaking at the right time. And this team's only going to get better next year with some of the signees that they've already signed coming in.
So we are up against the break here momentarily. When we come back, we will be joined by the new head football coach of the Howland Tigers, Brian Jones, a name I'm sure all Valley High School football fans are familiar with. We'll talk to Coach Jones up next here on By All Means.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday 10 to 4 and Saturday 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Mill Creek Golf Course is the host venue for the AJGA PGA Hope Program, 8 high school teams, and 2 collegiate teams. Mill Creek Golf Course is your Callaway certified golf club fitting facility. It was named the PGA of America's National Merchandiser of the Year for a public facility 2022. Book your tee time at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
The fall and winter grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday 10 to 4 and Saturday 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Sandrock Concrete specializes in all types of concrete, driveways, sidewalks, basements, and garages. We also do stamped colored concrete in many different designs. We do interior and exterior stonework, regular brick and block work. Sandrock Concrete is fully insured. Call Jerry Sandrock at 330-506-0013 for an estimate. Also find them on Facebook at Sandrock Concrete LLC. Sandrock Concrete, where you deal with the owner all the time.
Did you miss the last Youngstown Phantoms hockey game? Catch up with the Dump and Chase podcast.
He's a pretty big guy, and he was the only one with hair. I am, of course, talking about assistant coach Brandon Gawkin. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for all your support. It's great, the stuff that you guys do and how much coverage you bring. I know we appreciate it a lot as a coaching staff, and our guys really appreciate it. So thank you so much for putting all this hard work in.
The Dump and Chase podcast, Wednesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia1 network.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio, home of the Youngstown Phantoms, on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Welcome back to By All Means. Again, thank you to Houston Texans defensive end and former Youngstown State Penguin Derek Rivers, who joined us in the opening segment. We're going to continue to talk football as we're going to try and catch up with all the new coaches around the Valley for high school football. We start things off with Brian Jones, the new head coach of the Howland Tigers. First off, Coach, congratulations, and thanks for coming on for a few minutes.
Yeah, appreciate it. Glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
So you got this job back in December. What was it that attracted you to the Howland football program to take over this program as their head coach?
Well, there's a couple of things that attracted me to this position, and one, it's a first-rate school system. It's a great school system, and I've been involved in Howland in 2011. I was a student teacher. I got to get in the building a little bit, and I had a wonderful experience. So I was, I had spent some time in there, and that really rubbed me in a good way. Two is I know that the community is a very close-knit community. It's a proud community, and
did we lose Coach Dave?
Yeah, we lost Coach. I'll get him back.
All right, so we will have to reconnect the call here momentarily, as unfortunately we lost the signal with. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but we are reconnected with Coach Jones. You were saying you already had some familiarity with the school system at Howland. That's one of the things that attracted you to taking over the football program.
Absolutely. It was a great experience in 2011 as a student teacher. And, just learning more about the community. I know it's a proud community, tight-knit. They care about their school system. They care about their interscholastic athletic programs. And probably the third thing that drew me to Howland was the tradition. There's a rich tradition in their football program, and it's definitely something that I wanted to be a part of.
I know you've had this position, Coach, since the end of the year. Have you had the time to kind of fill out your staff and who will be there with you running the program?
Yes, I have. The entire staff is complete. I have 8 assistant coaches. The greatest thing about our staff is 85% of those coaches are in the building, which is phenomenal for us. It was important for me to have that. And, I'm really excited about who we have locked in place and who will be, setting the guidelines for our kids. And they're all great people and great leaders. So I'm really excited to work with them.
Knowing your past and you spent the last couple of years as an offensive coordinator, I know you'll definitely have your hands on that Tigers offense. What can we expect it to look like? What kind of system do you expect to run this year? Or is it more of a, let's get used to the team, let's get used to the talent that I have, and then make adjustments accordingly?
Yeah, I think so. I think you hit it on the button there. There's things that I would like to do conceptually, but we need to wait and see what our kids can do on the field. But, I can tell you this, we will run the ball. That's been a strong history with Howland football teams, is the ability to line up and run the football effectively. But, I think you'll see some things that maybe traditional Howland teams didn't do in the past, spread it out a little bit and, use some a lot of
Yes, we lost him again, Mark.
I don't know what you want to do. You just want to.
I'm trying to call him back.
What's that?
I'm calling him back.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. You guys are on.
All right. Unfortunately, technology is getting the best of us today. Unfortunately, again, with Coach Jones, the new head coach of the Howland Tigers. And so, Coach, what has the offseason been like? How much is it, conditioning and getting ready for the season? And how much of it is your staff getting to know your team?
Coach, are you there?
Gotcha. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What's the offseason been like for you, Coach? How much of it is getting your team ready for the season compared to how much of it is just getting to know your players off the field?
Yeah, it's a mix of both, really. We've had a great offseason so far. The energy level in our weight room has been fantastic thus far. And our biggest goal right now in this period is to get our kids introduced to me, our staff, and then to establish our culture. And that looks in part in 3 different ways. It's we want to give relentless effort with what we're doing, whether it's in the weight room, whether that's in the classroom, that's on the field with reps. We're going to compete in everything we do. So we talk about competitive excellence. And then the third part of that is we are going to love one another and learn how to be great teammates. And I think if we can take those 3 things and really maximize itself, that'll start to build the culture that we want to build here at Howland. But for the most,
It dropped again. You don't want to finish it? Okay. You don't want to finish the show, I mean. Okay. It's on his end. It's not me. My phone hasn't moved and nothing's touching it. It's the same as it was for Derek. Well, I know. The other phone, once it charges, it'll be fine. I just need to get it charged. Okay. Like,